On this quick episode of Student Ministry Connection, we're talking about one thing you can do to both connect with others and grow in your ministry. Let's jump right in. Welcome to Student Ministry Connection, a podcast for those who serve in student ministry but also want to connect with others and continue to grow as leaders and disciples. And that's exactly what we're talking about on this really quick episode today. If you're new to around here, my name is Steve Cullum, and I've served in student ministry for quite a while. And one of the things that I love doing in student ministry actually started when I was a teenager. I realized that I loved going to events like camps and retreats and conferences. And that's exactly what I'm going to encourage you to do as a leader. Not only to take your students on those kind of events, but also seek them out for yourself. And here's 3 reasons why I love doing that. Number 1, I love connecting with others. My youth pastor growing up had so many friends also in ministry, and they'd often hang out and we'd partner together and we'd bring our youth groups together and all these different events. It was so cool. And all of that built into me that's what doing ministry is all about, doing it together. And what we get to do in conferences and events and things like that is we get to be together with like-minded people who also get youth ministry. And we get to support each other and we get to hang out and we get to have fun and we get to have these conversations that some other people in the world don't really understand. And yet we get it. We understand those conversations. And then we get to go and just hang out as well. The second reason is that I need to continue growing myself. I learned so many things from my youth ministry professor in college, and I learned a lot of things from my internships and reading books and listening to podcasts like you're doing right now. It's so important for us to continue learning and growing as leaders. If not, we're going to be stagnant, and we don't want to be leaders who are not growing. Because if we expect the teams and the students that we're leading to keep growing, we need to keep growing as leaders as well. And events like retreats and conferences allow us to sit at the feet of people who have gone before us. Some of them are many, many years beyond us, and we get to learn from their wisdom and their experience. And sometimes I've even gotten to sit down for lunch or coffee with one of these speakers and just continue to learn from them beyond what they've shared on the stage. And finally, it's important for us to get away and get out of our normal routine. A lot of times it's really easy for us to just sit behind the computer or go through our regular, everyday kind of things within ministry. And even though we love doing ministry, right, it sometimes can get to that point where it's just like, ugh. One of the reasons why I love going on those events with students is because I love getting out of my normal routine. But when I take students, I have to be responsible for them, right? But when I'm there with other youth pastors, we just get to relax and have fun. And what a conference or a retreat or a thing like that can do is just get us out of our normal routine. And we need that every once in a while. So that's why I do conferences and that's why I do retreats and other events with youth pastors and other youth leaders, is because I love connecting with others. I love growing with others. And I need to get out of my regular routine. And if now you're thinking, what do I do then, Steve? You painted maybe a good picture of why I need to go to these conferences, but where do I find them? How do I know what's going on out there in the youth ministry world? Well, one thing I've been trying to do over the last couple of years is put together a list on my blog that just shares all the different youth ministry conferences and events that I know that are going on for the calendar year. So you can check that out at stevecullum.com, or you can follow the link in the podcast show notes. As this episode is being released, I am down in Orlando for the Exponential Conference 2025. And if you're there, I would love to meet you in person. So be sure to look out for me and say hi if you see me. I'm also heading to the Orange Conference at the end of April 2025, and I can actually save you some money if you haven't signed up yet. Just head over to theorangeconference.com and use the code STEVE25 at checkout, and you're going to be able to save $25 off your ticket. And I'm also going to be at the Ignite Youth Leadership Conference in Colorado Springs on March 21st and 22nd. And like I said earlier, there are lots of other conferences, and I'm going to be at several of those this year check out that list on stevecullum.com or in the show notes. And if you're at any of these events, please let me know. I would love to meet you in person. And that's going to do it for this quick episode of Student Ministry Connection. Thank you so much for tuning in. I encourage you to share this with other youth leaders that you know. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And until next time, be sure to stay connected, and may God bless your ministry.